What is up, Knights of Vex? We have a new Conquest approaching in a couple of days, and a fan-favorite character from the Mandalorian TV show is coming to Galaxy of Heroes, Cobb Vanth. He is the next Conquest unit confirmed for Galaxy of Heroes, and he's going to be an awesome character. He is doing certain things that we weren't really expecting. He's creating a new faction called the Constables, and he's actually being a lifter unit to characters like Cup. Coruscant Underworld Police is getting a lifter unit, but jokes aside, he looks really exciting. He's going to be bringing in different factions between Jawas and Tuskens and Constables, and he's going to be performing really cool things. So I hope he is as good as he is on paper. But for the most important part, we need to get you there. We want to make sure you unlock him on day one when he's achievable, which is in the next couple of months. We got to get you there. So I have the perfect free-to-play Conquest guide for you to get him. If you guys are new and haven't checked out these videos in the past, I create infographics for each sector of the Conquest, as well as a little keynotes section for what to keep an eye out for throughout the entire Conquest, as well at the end, feats that I recommend that you guys skip if you're an early to mid-game player that isn't exactly super endgame and is not going to have all these characters or new Conquest characters unlocked to get him, because you're going to see later on it's requiring a lot of new legendary characters and galactic legends that not everyone might have at their roster. So we want to help you get there. We're going to start the PowerPoint and the show in a couple of seconds, but I want to remind you guys, if you guys are new here, we just hit 9,000 subscribers on the channel. We are on the road to 10,000 subs. I have a huge giveaway at the end of the month if we can get there. We are currently just under 9,100 subs. If we can get to 10,000 by April, I will be doing a huge giveaway on the channel, including Google Play cards, iTunes cards, early Vexatron merchandise that I'll be giving away, as well as a brand new video game of that's unboxed of your choosing for whoever is selected. So what you have to do is you have to be a subscriber. You have to become a Knight of Vex. You know, I would really appreciate it, guys. So we're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. If you want to support me and see me grow, I really would appreciate if you hit subscribe. So with that out of the way, guys, let's get into the fun stuff. Going right into the PowerPoint of the Conquest Guide for Cobb Vanth. So here we are. You're going to see me moving around throughout the PowerPoint, but the first thing I want to talk about is the keynotes for unlocking him. So we're going to get right into it. Keynotes for unlocking Cobb Vanth. The first thing I want to mention is finding a Droideka node specifically in Sector 1. And you're going to see once we get to the next slide, there's a certain reason. We have a new character that is exclusive to one particular debuff that they want us to apply. Buff Disruption. It is only available to Stormtrooper Luke. So it's going to be hard if you have a Gear 12 Stormtrooper Luke that you want to get this feat done because of Relic Delta. And you're going to see in a couple of seconds I'm going to be talking about that because it's active. But a Droideka node in Sector 1 is going to be very helpful to get the Buff Disruption done in one battle with a certain cheese mechanic that I'm going to figure out. And a certain data disc combo. So for this Conquest plan to work, a Droideka node is going to be extremely helpful for your plan. I'm sure once the Conquest starts and we find certain particular nodes, maybe like a mini boss node or a final boss node, we might find other cheese mechanics. But for the most part, if we don't know anything about the final and middle boss node, we want to find a Droideka. And by the way, I will be creating sector guides individually for each sector to go over certain cheeses to make your life a lot easier. That's going to be happening once the Conquest starts. But the second thing, this team single-handedly gets a majority of the early game and mid-game player base red crate. It's Maul, Conquest Maul, Canderous Ordo, and Wat Tambor. That combo makes Conquest super easy. If you have the right data disc combo and the right modding on your team, the enemy team will never take a turn. You can go all the way from 100 stamina to 0, and they're never going to move. It is actually cheat mode with Conquest, and it helps you get those annoying feats done with surviving, all the new characters that you might have at Gear 12, not at Relic levels. It makes it a lot easier, so I highly, highly recommend you utilize that strategy. Next up, we got to talk about Relic Delta is confirmed live for this Conquest, so you need to keep in mind that there's going to be a Delta disparity. Gear 11, Gear 12 is not going to be as easy as it was previously. We're now entering the end game of Relic Delta. This is what we were most feared of, but the positive to Relic Delta and what they're doing to Conquest is the next thing. And you're going to see. There are certain data discs that are going to help you cheese the heck out of this Conquest. Zealous Ambitions and Weak Spot are just very overpowered data discs that I recommend you get. So that's going to complete the Maul Canderous cheese. Those are really, really strong. or even like the droid kills, any support character is going to be dealing a lot of damage. But it's mostly about F34-T training droid data disk. You literally cannot end the battle because they have it where the enemy team cannot go down unless they're insta-killed. This makes it so easy to cheese nodes and feats that you're going to see later on through my sector guides how easy it is. I am predicting for the very final sector of Sector 5, you're going to be able to get all 4 feats done in one battle with a certain team. I'm going to have to test it and theorize it, but I'm predicting that we're going to be able to do that. So these 3 particular things are going to be making Conquest a lot easier for you. So now I'm going to move myself a little bit up to talk about the next one. There is a global pirate feat for this Conquest, and with all my math done for early mid-game players, unless you have Pirate King Hondo very early on, this feat is more than likely required. But do not worry. You can have level 1, gear 1 pirates for the most part, but if you have a single relic character like Nest or OG Hondo Onaka, you're going to be able to find nodes to get this done, particularly in probably Sector 1. So do not worry if you don't have a full team of relic or high gear pirates. I am 100% positive that we will find a strategy for a single relic pirate that's going to be able to get it done. So Nest or Hondo at high relic will get it done. And then the last thing I want to say is that all those new era units, Asajj, Darth Vader Dual Zen, Stormtrooper Luke, they don't need to be at relics for you guys to complete and get Red Crate. Do not worry if you guys get the right cheeses done, the right nodes, you have a couple of very strong data disks, you're going to be able to get it done. So do not give up on Conquest because you think you don't have the new characters up and running that you're going to fail. I know that took a little bit of time, but I wanted to go over that in detail about the current things. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into each individual sector to talk about my mentality behind the teams and the certain cheeses. So you're going to see over here, I'm going to make myself a little bit smaller so we could fit. These are what the infographics are going to look like on my Discord. So if you hide it over here, this is what the infographic is going to look like. I highly recommend you check it out and join my Discord. But we're going to hang out here for the majority of the video. So, Sector 1. What I've done is I take the sector feats and keep them on the left and show the global feats on the right and try to see if we can double or even triple dip on these certain feats. So you're going to see there's different color combinations to the characters. Each color represents double or triple dipping. So if you see a color coordinated matching with the teams, that means you're getting multiple feats done. The basic template is going to be yellow. So if you see a yellow coded character, that means it's exclusive to that feat. But if you see a different color besides yellow, they're having multiple double or triple dips. So let's talk about the global feats first. Because we're not going to go over it for every single sector, but win 20 battles with Asajj Ventress Dark Disciple in your squad. She does not need to survive, so keep that in mind. Does not need to survive, so you could even throw in a Galactic Legend or any powerful team that you have. But if you want to utilize her to her advantage, the first thing we're going to recommend is her normal home. Boba Fett, Sign of Django. We're going to go Fennec, and I added Grief Cargo and Mando because they are more accessible than Zuckuss and Forlom, and they're going to have Lightspeed tokens available for you guys to get at Relic. So they're already going to be at Relic. Your Asajj is going to be at Gear 12. She's going to be fine. I highly recommend that. So if you have that team up and running, no big deal. But what I'm going to recommend for the majority of the player base, if you aren't aware, she's actually considered a Night Sister. So you could throw her into a Great Mother team and have them just carry her to victory. Because if you have at least 2 or 3 of the Great Mother team at Relic, you're going to be fine. It's literally easy mode. You're going to see, I don't have them listed that many times on the left, but for Sector 1, Great Mothers do a lot over here. They get the bonus turn, they get Foresight, they do Tenacity down. They're doing a lot for this sector, so I highly recommend if you want to utilize your Asajj Ventress to its maximum in Sector 1, Great Mother is going to be a phenomenal team for that. Next up, attempt to inflict Tenacity down 70 times. This is going to be a breeze. If you guys have a regular CLS squad up and running, you're going to be fine because Chewbacca, every time he does a basic, applies Tenacity down. You're going to find a node. You're going to get this done in a single battle. It's really not hard at all. So the reason why I'm not including 3PO here, I'm including Stormtrooper Luke, is because Stormtrooper Luke is going to be applying buff immunity or buff disruption, which you're going to see on the left-hand side is a Sector 1 feat. If you find a Droideka node, like I was saying, you could do it on auto basic and you're going to get it done in a single battle. So I highly recommend you find that Droideka node to get that feat done. And then you're going to see Night Sisters are going to be repeated because they also inflict Tenacity down on a bunch of abilities. Great Mother's basic, Death Trooper Pretty is AoE, and Asajj Ventress is basic. So keep that in mind. Next up, win 20 battles with a full squad of pirates. I did not include Maz Kanata here because she is a Conquest character and not a lot of players might have her. So I'm including the very baseline of the pirates. Do not need to be at high relic. You could have a Gear 1, Level 1 Ethano, Kicks, Quiggled. That's all about either OG Hondo or Nest. You can go for different data disc combinations to get this done. So you can go for a Zealous Ambitions to make OG Hondo literally skyrocket damage and hit for like a truck, or you can go for durability for Nest. So that's going to be the Pirate feat, and then obviously I'm going to include Galactic Legend Pirate King Hondo because there's not that many Pirate combinations for you guys to go with, so I just included GL Pirate King Hondo, but you do not need him. Next up, gain Foresight 200 times. This should be absolutely easy throughout the entire Conquest. I'm sure there's going to be cheeses to get it done in single or 2 battles, but it's really not hard. For the first sector, I'm just including a Keller and Beck team. General Kenobi, Mace, Hermit Yoda, and Grandmaster Yoda, they all apply Foresight on certain abilities. They start the battle with Foresight. It's a breeze. Same thing with Great Mothers. There's a bunch of Foresight within their kit. With Great Mothers, Morgan, and Spirit. Spirit's going to have Foresight every turn. Morgan has a cause in her kit where she can give Foresight to her team, as well as Great Mothers. Whenever she is critically hit, she's granting Foresight. So, really good stuff. Then, we're going to talk about Attempt to Inflict Purge 300 times. Many different options to do this now, and Inquisitors are more accessible because we were able to get them through Journey Quest tokens, so a lot of players should have them at least Gear 13, Relic 0. So if you do have Riva, it makes it easy mode. You're going to be able to start the battle with a ton of Purge. It's super easy. If you don't have Riva, do not worry. Use Grand Inquisitor lead or use 5th Brother lead, and just Cheese and Node will figure it out together to get that Purge done. Also, a positive is that 5th Brother applies Tenacity down on the basic, and 7th Sister does Foresight on her second special. If you guys don't have Inquisitors up and running at all, but you do have a Balin team, the good thing is that Marak applies Purge when he assists and Tenacity down as well. So you could utilize that to your advantage. Shin, Embo, and OG Hondo all give Foresight throughout the team, so that's another really good option for you. You need the Zeta on Shin for her Foresight, but Embo, if he's critically hit, gets Foresight as well. Same thing with OG Hondo. So, wanted to go over the global feats really quick. We're now going to go into the sector feats for Sector 1, and we're going to keep that going for the rest of the Conquest video. So, the first thing I want to talk about, they're doing a lot of repeats, a lot of repeats. The first one's going to be take 50 bonus turns. If you guys are fortunate enough to have Gungans in your roster, you can get this done in a single battle, sometimes 2. It's actual easy cheat mode. The tank, Phalanx, can give Foresight and apply AoE Tenacity down, so that's a plus. If you guys don't have Gungans, this is the team I'm talking about. Maul, Canderous, and Watt, and then you add 2 characters that could be at level 1, Gear 1. It does not matter. The plus to this is that Canderous does apply Tenacity down on a basic whenever he hits for a 3rd time, so you're going to be adding on to your Tenacity down global feat. So that's pretty straightforward. As well as Great Mothers, like I said. Great Mothers, whenever they start the battle, they're giving bonus turns for the Doomed and the Blessed. So that all counts as bonus turns. So if you grind out your Asajj Ventress battles in Sector 1, you're going to be stacking so many feats. So many feats. So, next up, talked about it briefly, Attempt to Inflict Buff Disruption 30 times. There's only one option for this. It's Stormtrooper Luke. But that doesn't mean it should be skipped, because the CLS team is up and running. Everyone should have Stormtrooper Luke at Gear 12 at least. Buff Disruption on a basic, you got to apply the Omega on the basic ability. It's going to be a breeze. Make sure you find a Droidic node. He's going to get it done. Very easy. If you guys don't want to use the CLS trick and you have him up and running at Relics, you want to use a full team, you could throw him in with Stormtrooper Han, Leia, Captain Rex, who applies an AoE Tenacity down, and Captain Han, who might be able to revive your team and provide some survivability. So I wanted to include that there. Next up, win 10 battles with Captains Silvo and Vane surviving. This is a double dip, so that's why I included Vane and Silvo for the top team for the bonus turns, because it's double dipping with the Maul cheese. So you're going to be getting your Vane and Silvo survive feat, as well as your bonus turns, because Maul takes a bunch of bonus turns, so I wanted to include that. And if you guys are fortunate enough to have Pirate King Hondo, you can just include them in there, and you're going to be very, very easy, very self-explanatory. Now, you have to win 10 battles with Cup, Coruscant Underworld Police, in Sector 1. I know he was a recent Lightspeed bundle for $5 to have at Relic 9, so if you guys are fortunate enough to have him up and running at Relics, good for you. If you don't, you're still going to be absolutely fine. So, if you guys are very early game, you can throw in Padme Amidala, who is a Galactic Republic leader, helps with survivability. You can get this done in Sector 1. It shouldn't be that hard. If you guys are fortunate enough to have Jedi Master Kenobi, swap in Padme with Jedi Master Kenobi, throw in Cup in the team. It's easy mode. But I know not a lot of players might have Jedi Master Kenobi, so I didn't want to include him. But if you have Kenobi, by means, use Kenobi. Your second best option is going to be Queen Amidala, the Conquest character, with Padawan Obi-Wan, Master Qui-Gon, Yoda, and Cup. You're going to be double dipping, triple dipping in many different feats. So Bunch of foresight on the team, a bunch of tenacity down on the team. Wanted to include them on the list. Very not so hard Sector 1. Gonna move on to Sector 2 now and get into all the fun stuff here. So, let's keep this party going. Sector 2. First feat, evade at least 100 attacks in battles you've won. What I'm recommending here is going to be Darth Maul, not Conquest Maul. Darth Maul lead with his Zeta. He's going to be double dipping this feat because he applies stealth to his entire team. You can get this done very fast. So, the reason why I'm including him on the first feat is because he grants his team evasion. So, the enemy team's going to be dodging quite a bit, and when they dodge, you're going to be counting towards your feat. So, that's a great way to get the stealth and the evade battle done in Sector 2. So, if you guys are fortunate enough to have the Maul Zeta lead, this is good for double dipping. I am not including a tank here because you kind of want your team to get hit, because when they get critically hit, they're going to gain stealth. So, that's why I didn't include a tank like Malik or anything like that, because he kind of shuts down that stealth mechanic. I included Emperor Palpatine here because he has an AoE stun, and that's going to help you with your attempt to stun enemies 50 times feat. So that's why he's included there. I am repeating Great Mothers from Sector 1 in the global feat for a double dip. The reason why I like Great Mothers here, like I said in Sector 1, a ton of foresight, and Morgan is going to be applying blind on the enemy team if you kill the entire team with a mass swarm. So, if they have blind, they're technically going to be missing. So that's an evade for you. So this is a great way to do your Asajj Ventress feat, as well as your evade, your foresight, and stun, because two of the characters have stuns, Spirit and Asajj Ventress Dark Disciple. So I really like using Great Mothers there. Now, next up, attempt to stun enemies 50 times, showing you a couple of different options. You're going to see throughout the guide, you see all those little icons. Those are all for debuffs. Or buffs for where you're going to be applying the feats. I think the easiest one by far is going to be Phoenix, because Zeb, when he attacks an enemy that is dazed, is going to be stunning them, and you can get this done really, really fast because they're constantly attacking out of turn with Captain Rex. Captain Rex also very nice because he has a stun of it by himself and an AoE tenacity down, which is going to help you stack with your global feat. So that's why I like them there. But you need Zeb, because Zeb will stun on a basic if he's attacking a dazed enemy. Next up, we're going to include Trench. Trench is getting off the bench for this Conquest because he's very good with stuns, and it's all about Dooku. You don't necessarily need Trench in this team. Dooku is one of the best stunners in this game because of his basic. He's always applying stun on a basic. Trench is going to be his best leader, so that's why I'm including him there. And Trench also has a stun, which is nice because if he attacks an enemy with shock on a basic, he's stunning them. So that's really good to know. And the positive to this as well is that Count Dooku is applying stealth to his entire team. So that's another way for double dipping the feat. You're going to get your stun and your stealth mechanics in one team. So very easy, very nice stuff. Next up, have to include the Maul Cheese, Maul Canderous Watt, Forlom and Zuckuss. Same concept. Get the right data disc. The enemy team will never take a turn. Be careful if you're facing a team that has counterattacks, because Zuckuss does have a taunt ability. So make sure you're going against the right teams to get this done, but it's a literal easy mode. Next up, we're just going to include the regular Bounty Hunter squad from the global feat, including Forlom and Zuckuss here, because they are needed to survive. So if you guys have them up and running at Relics, they're going to be helping you get your Dark Disciple, Asajj Ventress feat stun as well. And it's nice because Zuckuss has a stun, so you could help contribute to that as well. Now, the stealth, not to go over it too much again, but it's just repeats of squads up and running from the top. Should be fairly easy. The global feats are for the most part the same. You're going to see I included blind on some of the other characters, because when the enemy team is blinded and they miss, that's going to help count for your evade at least 100 attacks in battles you won. So if you see blind and foresight on this node, that's because I wanted to show that it also counts for evade an attack at least 100 times. So that's going to be wrap up Sector 2. Let's move on to Sector 3 now really quick. Attempt to inflict buff immunity 40 times. So I want to also mention that if you guys have the Padawan Obi-Wan Omicron, it literally makes all of these, buff immunity and buffs and debuff feats very easily. So you guys are fortunate enough to have Padawan Obi-Wan. This is going to be done in 1 or 2 battles. But if you guys don't have it done or have that Omicron, I want to include everything here. So the first thing is going to be Commander Luke Skywalker with Rolo. This is also a Droideka cheese. Not going to put pressure for you guys to find it because there's so many other options on this feat to get buff immunity. But if you guys do happen to find a Droideka node, you just apply it on auto basic once it's down to a solo Droideka. It's very easy. So I included that there. If you guys have Separatist droids, B2 is constantly getting bonus turns and his cooldowns are getting reset. He could be doing a 5-person AoE buff immunity. It makes it really, really easy. So I wanted to include a Separatist team here. Now, next up, CLS is really good in Conquest. I'm not going to lie. He's one of the most important teams because he's just so freaking good. Win 10 battles with no tanks in your squad, including CLS, regular CLS squad, because he does apply Tenacity down along with Chewbacca, and he also applies buff immunity, and there are 0 tanks. So this is a great team to get this done. Obviously, if you guys have Galactic Legends, there's a lot that can do it, like Sith Eternal Bane. You could do a Kylo team with all attackers. There's many different options that you can do, so I want to include that. Another really good option for this one that I'm a big fan of is, again, the Maul Cheese. But this sector specifically is really nice because he does apply buff immunity on his second special. So you can get this done pretty fast because he's constantly going to be doing it. He's going to be able to land 5 buff immunity a battle, and you're technically doing 3 feats in one. So you're going to be doing your no tanks, your buff immunity, as well as your Asajj Ventress Dark Disciple, and technically Tenacity down. So 4 with this one note. So Maul is really good on this team, and really good for this sector is what I mean. Now, gain profit 50 times with pirates. I have a cheese. It's one of my most viewed videos on my channel about how to get this done in one battle if you have no high gear or high relic pirates. That was for a particular conquest I've done. I've done for one for each conquest that it's been included. For this one, we're going to find the right node to do it in this sector. It could be a mini boss node. It could be a random node. That data disk I was talking about in the beginning, the F34-Chi training droid, is going to make this very, very easy. So do not worry. As long as you have, I think, Ethano's unique or leadership leveled up, you're going to be fine. And the plus is, he's also giving Foresight out. So that's another really cool thing about this sector, is that he's giving Foresight. Now, if you guys have Hondo or Maz Kanata unlocked, you're in for some luck because they give profit out like it's candy. It's going to be one and done. So, really easy. SM33 applies buff immunity. Now, this is a strange one. I don't think I've seen this fast after a conquest. Maybe I'm wrong, but win 10 battles with Satil Shan surviving. We just had her in the previous conquest. Not many players in the community might have her unlocked. I know a lot of mid and end game players might, but not a lot of early game players. So this one's going to be one I'm going to recommend you skip. If you guys do have her, the good thing is that you could be doing a lot of feats with this one. Tenacity down, buff immunity, Foresight. It's very, very easy. You have her unlocked, but she's not at relics. Throw her into a JML squad. You could do the Maul Cheese again. It's really, really easy. And the global feats are all relatively the same. I included the debuff icons to show you exactly what they're going to be doing in this sector, but not hard at all. Like OG Hondo is going to be playing buff immunity for dark side enemies or light side enemies when he has certain stacks of ransom, just stuff like that. So this sector is not that bad. Moving on to Sector 4. This is where it starts to get, really fun, really easy. Defeat 50 enemies with droid units. The first one I'm going to be recommending is Dr. Aphra, because Dr. Aphra can be double dipping here because she applies potency up with her middle ability to dark side allies, and her droids do a lot of damage. With the introduction to IG-90, the team is actually really, really strong. So if you guys are fortunate enough to have Dr. Aphra unlocked, she's going to be one of the best leaders to be getting the droid kills because of how powerful her droid allies are. Next up, want to include Shorty, 50R-T with 4 droids and Lobot. Lobot is like that steroid boosting support character for your droids. If you have Zealous Ambitions, they're going to be one-shotting teams. They're going to be gaining turn meter from BB-8 because he gains turn meter for each light side active droid, I believe. So, very easy. You just got to get the right data disk for that team to work. Next up, win 10 battles with Inquisitor Barriss surviving. If you have Reva, you're in luck. It's really easy. She's going to practically, you could probably one-shot teams immediately with a Reva Grand Inquisitor combination, but just throw Inquisitor Barriss on this team. The plus is that Fifth Brother has an AoE potency up ability with his middle special, so that's a great way to get the potency up, which you're going to see down on bottom. So that's easy. If you guys don't have Inquisitors up and running, throw Inquisitor Barriss to a Mandalorian cheese team again. Same concept. The enemy team never goes. You always go. Nice and easy. Defeat 40 enemies with bounty hunters. The good thing about this is that Jabba, Hutt Cartel, if you put the right combination, are all bounty hunters. So if you just get the kills with those characters, you're going to be getting your 40 defeats with bounty hunter allies. So that's very easy. Throwing in Greedo here, because Greedo on a basic applies potency up to himself. Great way to stack up with the potency up feat. Next up, going to be showing a double dip with the Sign of Django team with bounty hunters. Very, very easy. If you do not have that team up and running, use a Bosk lead team. Try to find a very easy node to get that done, and it shouldn't be a problem. Now, potency up. Double dipping with Afra, like I said earlier. Her middle ability applies an AoE potency up. If you guys are fortunate enough to have JML, you throw in Old Ben, Kyle Katarn, Kid Fisto, and Yoda. 3 of them apply potency up. Yoda can spread the potency up to spread even more towards your feet and get your foresight done. So that's a no-brainer, easy, no challenge at all. Now, the cool thing about this is, like I said, Inquisitors do apply potency up, but also Balin does on his middle ability. He applies potency up to his entire mercenary team. And I threw in Cara Dune on the bottom right because she does apply potency up on a basic ability. So another great option. And also on the global feat, you're going to see on the right, Asajj Ventress' middle ability applies potency up. So Sector 4, not looking too difficult. Now, Sector 5 is looking pretty interesting because this might be, in theory, I'm theorizing it. I don't know if it's going to work the way I'm thinking. I think you can get all the feats done on a single battle with a certain team. But we're going to talk about it later on, and I'm going to have to test it once the Conquest comes out. But Sector 5, not that bad. Inflict at least 300 dots on enemies with an ability. You guys have Lord Vader with the Dark Side clones? Couple battles, not hard at all. Going to be an absolute breeze. If you guys don't have Lord Vader up and running, Darth Vader, Sidious, all very good at applying dots. Tuskens, also really good at applying dots. Now, I was confused when this feat came out because it says applying dots with an ability, but I looked at previous Conquest sectors of my guides, and Tuskens still do it. It still counts towards this feat. So, if you guys are fortunate to have Tuskens up and running, they can get this done in one battle against heavy turn meter teams. So, that's going to be a breeze. Now, this is the team I'm talking about. Attempt to inflict fracture 40 times. In theory, if you have Rex Lead, Thrawn, Watt, Malik, and Han Solo with the right data disc combo, I'm talking the F-34-Chi training droids, the deployable cooling systems, and on the right node, I think this is a one-and-done battle because you have the Fracture from Thrawn. Thrawn also inflicts ability block on a basic once speed up expires. Wat Tambor, when he's attacking out of turn, or whether it's out of turn or during his turn, applies damage over times. Malik has tenacity down, and Han Solo has evasion up. I think this can get done in one battle. I'm going to have to test it out. Regardless, at least 2 or 3 feats are going to be done, but I can't wait to try it out. Thrawn is going to be your fracture dealer. He's one of the only characters that does it. There's Thrawn, there's Spider Maul, which not a lot of players are going to have. There's Hera Syndulla. There might be one more character, but that's going to be the best team for that feat, and we're going to get it done in one battle, I'm telling you. If you guys want to take your time with it, you could throw in a Spectre team with GL Ahsoka Tano. Ezra does have an AoE ability block once he gets the 50 stacks of Progo Migration, and your Syndulla is going to be your Fracture. So that is pretty self-explanatory. Attempt to inflict ability block 50 times. The Inquisitor team is going to be an absolute breeze. They have 100% turn meter in the beginning. They get a bonus turn. Grand Inquisitor does an AoE ability block. Reva's basic does an ability block. Seven Sisters middle ability is an ability block. And Eighth Brother's second special, if they have enough Purge, is an ability block. So that's a breeze. You're also getting Foresight and Evasion up with Seven Sister if she does her second special. So great way to stack that feat. Works well with the global feat on the bottom. Now, attempt to ability block more. We're going to throw in JML. AoE ability block on him. AoE ability block on Old Ben. Ability block on a basic from Bastila. And Yoda has the Foresight. And Luke is there for just the stun and to keep you alive. So, very, very easy. Ability block is not that hard. There's going to be many different options. Evasion up. If you guys can't get that cheese working up top, a regular CLS squad against a Droideka node, played manually, one and done, very easy. Han Solo does a AoE evasion up on his second special. It's really not hard. If you find a Droideka node, you're going to be lucky, but it's not essential by any means. Next option, the Bad Batch. The OG Bad Batch are going to be really, really good at this because AoE evasion up from Hunter. I believe Echo's basic and special. Second special apply an AoE evasion up, so not that hard. And as you can see, the global feats include the same exact thing, included the ability blocks, the evasion up on all those different teams. This Conquest isn't looking that bad. So with that being said, we're now going to move on to the last slide. This video has been a little bit long, but I want to be as insightful as possible for you guys. This is going to be the recommended feats that I skip for you if you're very early to mid-game to get you guys red crate. And I left you a little bit of wiggle room for some of those survive feats. But here we go. I'm going to move me back over here. This is going to be the feats to skip for red crate if you are a newer or mid-game player that does not have all these characters unlocked. Practically, using all the Conquest characters that were recent, the new Galactic Legends, the new legendary characters, I am advising you skip it if you don't have it. So I'm showing you, if you don't have these characters listed, you can still get red crate, but you're going to have to figure out everything else that I listed. The first one for Sector 1, win with only using Stranger. Not a lot of players might have him. If you do, congratulations, you're going to get your 3 key cards. Win with a full squad of Tuskens. Unless you're, very... there's no point in the game where I recommend someone goes for Tuskens because they're not needed for anything. They're needed for an old raid. If you guys are fortunate enough to have the Lightspeed bundle for them, very good for you. That's 2 key cards there. Sector 2. Win with Spider Mole in your squad. Hate Fueled. Very new character. Not a lot of players might have him. Skip it. Sector 3. Win 10 battles with Satila Strong surviving. Brand new Conquest character. Not a lot of players might have her. If you don't have her, do not worry. Win with a full squad of Geos. This one's a little tricky. I mean, obviously a lot of players might have Geos, but they might have them at high relic, and there's relic delta. If you can get this done, good for you, but not essential by any means. Sector 4. Win with a full squad of Jawas. I know my free-to-play account doesn't have a full squad of Jawas, so unless you guys got the Lightspeed bundle, skip it. And Sector 5. Win with Pirate King Hondo surviving in your squad, or just surviving. 5 key cards. With that total, that's going to equal 30. Now, I tried to make this work without the global feat for the Pirates, and it's a little too expensive. It's 16 key cards. It would have brought you over. This gives you a 4 key card wiggle room. You're allowed 34. So, a couple of those survive feats you can skip. But this is what I'm recommending. This is what I'm going to recommend you guys skip. Everything else has to be done, but it shouldn't be hard. If you guys have these characters unlocked, good for you, but that's it, guys. That's what we're going to do. That's how we're going to get Cobb Vanth on day 1. Let me know what you guys think about this guide in the comment section down below. Do you guys like the double dipping feats? Did you guys agree with the teams? Do you guys think this is going to be an easy Conquest mode? Is it going to be worth it to get Cobb Vanth? Let me know down below. And also, don't forget to hit the like button, guys, to support your boy Vex. Like I mentioned earlier, we're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. I could really appreciate the help to get there. And I can't wait to keep growing this channel. I hope this Conquest guide helps you. So if it did, leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to your boy to become an Vex. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. May the Force be with you all. Peace.